Senator Tim Kaine addressed the nation this evening at the Democratic Convention. This is the first time most people have ever seen him speak. The first time I've really seen him give a whole speech. I've seen him on television before. So how did he do? When I first saw him walk out on the stage, his body language, his hand gestures, sort of a goofy smile, it seemed a little off, to be honest. It seemed a little goofy. I was immediately struck with memories of Dan Quayle bounding up to the stage next to George H.W. Bush in 1988 when he was unveiled as a vice presidential candidate. And he just seemed a little bit out of his depth. Then he started talking, Tim Kaine, and the perception was, well, this is a really, really average guy. Everything about how he looks, his hair, his face, his body, the belly, everything. And sorry to sound superficial, but hey, American voters are superficial. He seemed almost abnormally normal and average. But the more he talked, boy, he really grows on you. He built in confidence, his enthusiasm, his passion, his ability to weave in logic to make his points. I've never seen any Democrat attack Trump so forcefully and skillfully. Now, something we saw here, which is a hard thing to do, it's hard for talk show hosts, much less politicians, is this mimicry. Tim Kaine was mimicking Donald Trump. Believe me. I'm not saying he got the accent perfect, but he got the tone, the condescension, and the mockery so well. He had the audience in stitches in the convention hall as well as people watching at home. So part of the role of a vice president is to attack and attack hard and forcefully the other party's nominee, and he did that. Even if you didn't like Kaine and don't want Hillary to be president, it's hard for me to imagine you thinking someone could have attacked Donald Trump more forcefully. For an unveiling of a politician on the national stage, I think this went about as smoothly as it possibly can. Now, I do subscribe to the theory that vice presidents candidates don't really do much in presidential campaigns. People tend to vote for the top of the ticket. But I can't imagine anyone who would otherwise vote for Hillary have second thoughts about voting for her because of this vice presidential selection. He came across extraordinarily confident, skilled, smooth, polished, although he retained sort of an average everyman quality to him. Wow, did he not make the mistakes most people make with the teleprompter. There was none of this, my fellow American. There was none of this yelling and looking frozen and stiff and staring off distantly at the teleprompter. He really seemed completely 100% present. He seemed like he was having a conversation with a couple of people at a bar, but talking about really serious matters. So I have to give him an A+. Those of you who think I'm giving a great inflation at this convention, though, I would remind you of the withering attacks I gave the senator from Minnesota who spoke earlier, with how flat her speech was and how she yelled the whole time. So I call it like I see it. I would like to know how you see the speakers at tonight's convention as well. Please post your comments here, whether you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, or listening on iTunes. I'm TJ Walker. Thanks for joining me.